Okay, the stage is set, the script's finished, the songs have been written. Someone has to bring the characters to life, and that, of course, is the job of the animators. I want you to meet four of the best in the business: Andreas Deja, Will Finn, Eric Goldberg, and Randy Cartwright. Please welcome them. Welcome. 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 You can slug it out for the chairs, whatever you like. You guys are like the four horsemen on that famous Notre Dame football team. I mean, you're the star players here. Let's go back, though, and start where you were when you got your assignments on this film. And why don't you introduce yourself and the character or characters you specialized in this film. Randy, you begin.
Well, I did the magic carpet in Aladdin.
Maybe you can help us.
And when I was offered the assignment, I think it was Ron, actually, that told me. And he kind of called me in and says, you know, we've got a part for you in Aladdin. And I was, you know, okay, great. What is it? You know, he said, well, it's the rug. You know, and I thought, oh, okay, yeah. And so it's alive? Yeah, it's alive. Okay. Well, what's its personality like? And he said, well, it's kind of like a rectangle. And I said, okay. And I went home and was really worried. Yes. I talked to my wife about it. Can I make a character as a rectangle? Maybe I should go on to another picture.
Yeah.
What should I?
Wondering if I could do an oval or something.
Yeah. But then I talked it over with Ed Gombert, who was the head of the story department. He said that if the character succeeded and came to life, it would be a memorable part of the movie. And so I came in the next day and agreed to it and took on the challenge and did the carpet.
And it's memorable.
Yep.
So you succeeded.
Ed was right.
Will?
Yeah, I worked on Iago, who is the parrot, who is the sort of the henchman to Jafar, the villain. So he's the evil parrot henchman. And I was working on Beauty and the Beast and drawing the clock character in that movie and read an outline for Aladdin. And there was an animal character and a sidekick, and at the time he was kind of a dry, British, sort of deadpan-y type character.
This lamp is the key! I must say, though, we do have a bit of a problem.
So I sent these drawings over and said, please, 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 could I animate this parrot character? And he said, well, we'll see, we'll think about it. And so about 6 months went by, and they said, well, we know you're interested in doing the character. Would you like to do the character if the character had completely changed from being a dry, deadpan character into basically Gilbert Gottfried as a parrot? And I was so psyched at the change.
I can't take it anymore!
To me, Gilbert is doing a takeoff on like a classic Borscht Belt style comedian.
What if you were the chump husband?
But he's sort of put a spin on it where he's sort of like a mental patient who thinks he's a Borscht Belt comedian because he just goes completely off the deep end with his ranting and raving.
Bam! Oh! Ah! Whack! Come on, I bet you say that to all your obnoxious sidekicks, right?
You know, it just turned out to be a ton of fun, and I'm so glad they asked me.
Andreas?
Like Will was saying, we were just finishing Beauty and the Beast. On that film, I did Gaston, the villain, and Ron and John turned to me and they liked what I'd done on that character, so they asked me to do the villain on their picture, which I gratefully accepted because villains are great parts. The problem that I was facing after we set the design is how to play Jafar. I mean, I saw storyboards where Jafar in some sequences was very active and he was digging in the sand for the lamp, and then in other boards he was just very held back and not saying anything. I just didn't know how to play him. But when I looked at the rest of the cast, who was very animated, you know, with Iago and Aladdin and the carpet and the genie, I thought maybe I should hold back with Jafar.
Yes. Only one may enter.
And sort of add this sort of dark cloud over this happy crew here. And once I started going that way, the character really clicked with me.
Not a problem you had to deal with, Eric.
Not always,
because,
no.
if you don't know, Eric designed and animated the genie.
The genie was my first Disney gig, and they had been calling me for a couple of years. I had my own studio in London doing television commercials and saying, want to jump ship yet? Huh? You coming? Huh? And eventually, you know, everything kind of seemed to line up. You know, that John and Ron were doing Aladdin. I wanted to work with John and Ron. And of course, they had written the genie very well as if it were Robin's voice. And it was very, very funny, even in those early stages.
You're easy, you're gullible, but you're sweet. I can see the lamp's on, but nobody's home.
So I kept thinking, God, I want the genie. Please give me the genie. Please give me. So I go in and see these guys, and they go, so we're thinking about giving you the genie. And I go, yeah, okay. I think I could do that. And, you know, we part company, and I walk out the door and go, yes, I got the genie, and realized that I locked myself out of my car and they had to call security to get me in. So,
But I mean, that was an emotional moment. That was a big deal. That was a very big deal.
it was a big deal.
Now, how did you develop the idea of basing the design on the work of the great caricaturist Al Hirschfeld?
There was a lot of great development art that had been done by the production designer Richard van der Wen, and he was doing what I would call Hollywood Arabian, where he was taking Arabian design but really exaggerating the S-curves.
Well,